Hi, welcome back to Enjoy Learning with Abby. Did you try to play any song on the piano after watching the previous videos about reading music? Are there any musical terms or symbols that you don't know what they mean? Let's talk about some common musical terms. First of all, let's talk about the tempo of a piece of music. In the previous video, we learned that the time signature tells us how many beats there are in a measure. If the song is seen 4/4 time, we count 1, 2, 3, 4. But the question is, how fast or slow are the beats moving? Should we count the rhythm slowly, like 1, 2, 3, 4, or very quickly, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4? The speed of the beats is called the tempo. Very often, the composer will write a tempo marking at the beginning of a piece of music, usually above the first measure. Tempo markings are mostly Italian words, although sometimes you will see them in English or even in other languages as well. Some typical tempo markings are presto means to play very fast, allegro means fast and lively. Allegretto is slightly slower than allegro, so it means you need to play fairly or moderately fast and lively. Moderato means at a moderate speed. Andante means slowly or at a walking pace. Adagio means slow and leisurely. Lento also means slowly. And largo means slow and stately. However, expressions like fast or slow are somewhat vague. That's why composers will also add a metronome marking at the start of the music so as to tell the pianist the exact tempo of the song. The metronome marking tells us the number of beats per minute, BPM. For example, in this metronome mark, a quarter notes equals 60 shows that there are 60 quarter notes per minute, meaning that there is 1 beat per second, so the tempo is the same as a ticking clock. You can adjust a metronome to tick at any speed you wish. Just set the number of beats per minute. In this case, you can know how fast or slow to play the song. There are other musical terms related to tempo. Ritardanto or retard means to get slower. Rallentando or rall means to gradually get slower. Sometimes the word poco or molto is written before rit or rall. Poco means little, so poco rit means to get a little slower. Molto means very or much, so molto rall means gradually get much slower. Accelerando or excel means to get gradually faster. A tempo means back to the original speed. Let's move on to the musical dynamics. Dynamics indicates how loud or soft the sound should be, and they are written as abbreviations. P stands for piano. It means soft, so the note should be played quietly. F stands for forte, and forte means loud. Between piano and forte, there are MP and MF, in which M refers to the word mezzo, which means moderately. Hence, MP means moderately soft, and MF means moderately loud. PP means pianissimo, which means very soft, and FF means fortissimo, which means very loud. So from softest to loudest, we have pianissimo, piano, mezzo piano, mezzo forte, forte, and fortissimo. Gradual changes of dynamic level can be shown by words or signs. For example, crescendo means gradually getting louder. Diminuendo or decrescendo both means gradually getting softer. The direction always continues in force until a new dynamic level is reached. Unfortunately, composers sometimes forget to show where the dynamic change ends. This is not a problem if signs are used instead of words. The sign for crescendo is this one, and the sign for decrescendo or diminuendo is this one. Both signs have a clear beginning and ending. Besides the dynamic level, composers will also specify how to perform individual notes. Articulation is about how we hit or play a note. There are some common articulation marks. The first one is staccato. Staccato is shown by a dot above or below a note. It means to play the note shorter, so you need to release the notes quickly. In this example, without the staccato marks, the notes are played. But if a dot is written below the notes, the notes will be played. Usually, the note is played half the length of its value. The opposite of staccato is legato, which means smooth and connected. Legato is usually indicated by a slur, which is a curved line. If a slur is put over two or more notes of different pitch, this indicates that the notes are played in a smooth and connected manner. The tie is also a curved line, but it only connects two notes of the same pitch. It indicates that the time value of the two notes is combined. The second note of the pair is counted and held but not played again. In this example, we won't play the second C note again. Instead, we'll just hold the C notes and count like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The next articulation mark is the accent mark. The sign is this one. It means the note should be played louder than the surrounding notes, so it's a note that the composer wants to stick out for some reason. This sign is called fermata. It means to hold the notes or rest longer than the actual value. The fermata is held for as long as the performer desires, but is often set as twice the note's original value. The last section is about repetition and codas. When this symbol, two dots followed by a thin line and a thick line, appears on the staff, this means the performer needs to repeat the previous section. But where is the repeat to begin? Usually, these two repeat signs are used together. The corresponding sign facing the other way indicates where the repeat is to begin. In this case, you are only required to repeat the section between the two repeat signs. But if you only see this sign on the sheet's music and cannot find the corresponding sign, this means you should go back to the beginning of the song and play it through again. Sometimes, numbered brackets are placed above the bars. It indicates that the repeated passage is to be played with different endings. For the first time you play the section, you should play the first ending, that is the measure mark number 1. After you repeat the passage, for the second time you should skip the first ending and go directly to the second ending, mark number 2. Other repeat signs include da capo, which is shown by this symbol, DC. It tells the performer to repeat playing the song from its beginning. Another repeat sign is down signal. The symbol is DS. Down signal tells the performer to go back to this sign and repeat from there. Da capo and down signal are usually followed by al fine or al coda. Al fine means to the end, so you should repeat the passage and end at fine. Al coda means to the coda, which means repeat the passage and play to the coda side, then skip to the coda to end the song. I hope this video can answer your question about the meaning of a specific musical symbol. If I haven't covered the musical symbol that you want to know, you're welcome to leave me a comment below and I will be explaining it. Let's learn more musical terms together. In the next lesson, I will use the song We Wish You a Merry Christmas to consolidate all the concepts that we have learned in this 10-lesson beginner piano course. Christmas is coming. If you can't wait to learn how to play Christmas songs on the piano, click the subscribe button below, plus the bell to get notified when I have a new video lesson. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up. I'm so glad that you're here to learn to play the piano with me. See ya!